Hello there, welcome back to the Valkyria Chronicles. I'm just showing you the next battle that we face, which is on the Marberry coast. Now, I apologise, there's a lack of sound in this video because for some reason or other the video didn't record sound. And maybe that I've been messing with the sound settings because I was trying to actually record voice directly onto the video as I was playing the game. But that didn't work out. The voice quality was poor because I was using Shadowplay and just using the voice recording, which is really meant, I think, for just multiplayer communication. The correct thing would be to get a more powerful computer and run OBS, but I can't do that at the moment. Anyway, to get back to the situation, so the problem with the Marberry Shore battle is initially you have to go into a very narrow defile, which is guarded by inaccessible machine guns, essentially, that are in bunkers. And they're going to wipe out your troops. Now, the game itself eventually offers a solution to this problem in that Isara invents a smoke round, essentially. She invents a smoke round and the Edelweiss is deployed with smoke rounds or smoke capability. As you can see, I'm retrying. I think it took me 4 or 5 goes. I ran out of time on multiple occasions in this game. In this battle, or I stopped because I was going to run out of time. I reached, shall we say, within striking range of the final objective, kind of each time, but with not enough time or force available to actually push through and complete the objective. And on one occasion I got about halfway and actually lost the Edelweiss. You start out with 2 tanks, so you have the Edelweiss, and Zaka has a tank of his own, the Shamrock, which doesn't seem to be as big or as well equipped as the Edelweiss, and must play around with it a bit, so it's not as rugged or as tough either. The enemy are actually the toughest I've ever found them so far, and I think I may have fallen behind in terms of troop upgrades. So all the enemy units are elite, all the shock troopers and lancers and scouts are all elite class, and I think, like I said, the Shamrock is probably a little bit behind on the curve as well in terms of equipment. One of the things I noticed is that you deploy two groups 5 on 5, so the Edelweiss is one group and Zaka is the other group, and I finished up after the replays of not actually deploying with the full available forces, because you'll get into the first base fairly easily. Once you work out once the smoke round's down, you get past the 2 bunkers up ahead that you can see, through the wall, and you get into the first base, and it's much more efficient to not have troops there at the start, because it takes at least 2 command points to get them through the smoke zone, the beaten zone, so to speak, where you need to drop smoke bombs. And a smoke bomb only lasts for your turn. Well, it lasts to the end of the enemy turn. So it will protect troops that are there, should we say, during the enemy turn. But then you have to drop another smoke round to get them out of there. And it still takes 2 command points to get from the starting locations to the enemy base. So it is actually more efficient to start off with about 3 shock troopers and an engineer in case the Edelweiss takes some damage, and just go through, take the base. The engineer is useful for the added mobility that they provide. In fact, they can take the base straight off, and then use the base to use command points to actually bring on reinforcements at the base. And in some cases as well, it's actually more efficient to move troops from location to location by actually withdrawing them and moving them, bringing them on as reinforcements in the next turn at a forward base. So you might think, well, okay, you've taken the first base very easily, that's pretty trivial, and there doesn't seem to be too many enemy troops around, and I think, yeah, that's just the start of it. The enemy troops, the opposition thickens and strengthens considerably, and you actually have to be very careful about your approach. And as well as that, past a certain stage, the tank's ability to actually give you continued fire support becomes quite limited, because they can't, at least I haven't been able to figure out how to get the tanks into the broader battlefield. And you'll see in a moment what I'm saying. So, first guy you're engaging really is that Scout Elite up there. And as you can see, again, tough enough to kill. Now it's long enough range, but he's still within aggro range of the Scout. Normally enough, you can kill them off quite easily. So we just need to keep bringing up troops. 2 more in the cloud. And then we need to bring up the tanks. Now, the enemy tanks are a problem. Can be a real severe problem. And the enemy also have flamethrowers. The enemy shock troopers have flamethrowers, which can wound your troops even if they're crouched down. They duck, shall we say. They can also, they're more effective, should we say, against you in cover as well. So there's these flamethrowers. And I don't have flamethrowers because my guys aren't elite enough. So I'm going to have to play a lot of the skirmish games just to elite up my troops. I've already screwed up one of the skirmish games in that I've lost a character, put a sniper in a location on the Fouzen map where I couldn't retrieve her because the elevators weren't working. Or at least I couldn't figure out how to get that particular elevator working. Right, so we're bringing on reinforcements at the start. So there are bunkers at various locations as well. This isn't just the 2 at the beach. You'll just see more of them as we come along. Now the problem is that if you can't blast through the centre really, you get caught in multiple crossfires and things like that. Now the enemy is usually, the aggression stuff goes on, but not as bad, and they tend to be more of them. They have more command points than they're bringing on. They're actually, the enemy's pretty effective at this game, in this particular tactically quite effective. I think the map layout just suits the defense quite strongly, and it's actually a pretty strong layout from that perspective. Snipers are very useful in this thing, but they're difficult to put position correctly, because there's a very limited number of places you can put them, and they can get killed quite easily. The other thing I've noticed is that enemy tanks are actually quite effective at shooting people. Much more effective at shooting. Enemy tanks on Lancers are much more accurate in this battle than they have been in any previous battle so far, which is probably another side effect of the upgrades. So we've got this guy behind cover, which we need to get rid of the cover, and as you can see, now we're not forward enough, but there's a bunker behind him, so we can't exploit through, for instance, the next command post without passing or destroying that bunker. And there's another bunker on the opposite side, you can just see over there, it's gone off the map now. But there's another bunker on the opposite side, and that can range almost up as far as the central locations of the map as well. And this trooper elite is also, there's a guy around the hill at the other side on his flank. So even if we get rid of him, and he'll be reinforced. And as you can see, there's tanks as well. There's one of them we've spotted, and there's another one further back. There's even heavier, bigger, meaner, and nastier. And very effective against infantry. So you need to get rid of all of these first. Now, this guy's going to go because he's just got so many people within range of him, and we're just taking him out. At the cost of everybody's movement, though. Now, if I attack straight through the middle, I think I will come under fire from the enemy bunker. And I have to clear the other trooper out before I can gain access to the rear of the bunker. I'm bringing on Lancers now because tanks are going to become part of the equation, and I need to take them out relatively quickly before they can destroy the Edelweiss and or the Shamrock. and the Edelweiss particularly is utterly essential. Well, first of all, you can't win the scenario with keeping the Edelweiss alive. But the second thing is you need the smoke rounds right up practically to the very end. You're going to be constantly making use of smoke rounds to get your troops into position or get them past bunker locations that are completely invincible otherwise, So, and of course the tanks consume quite a lot of command points. I've only got one command point left and I just ended the phase. Accumulation of command points is probably a good thing, especially if your troops are reasonably good nick, and orders that do healing multiple units are actually really good as well. So you can see there, use the flamethrower, HP down, and Rosie now fires back. And I think he'll go again, because the enemy will actually make multiple uses, and that missed, I think. Quite fortunate, because they hit quite a lot more now than they used to, and the tank's activated again, which again misses, which it's better, because sometimes they activate the shock troopers, and the shock troopers are actually quite effective. As you can see there now, Rosie has lost a lot of health. She'd probably survive a third round of it, but not a fourth. So the first couple of times I was doing this, I was pushing forward with inadequate amounts of shock troopers and just bleeding guys. You were losing guys, and then of course you had to spend command points to bring them back on reinforcements, and then there's more command points to put them into position, and you have to make sure you get them all into position together. And it's actually better to build up an overwhelming strength here at this location until you have the ready position to move forward. And I just wanted to get in close so we can finish this guy off before he gets to do any more harm. There's mines, of course, scattered around as well, the anti-personnel mines. And we leave him there. We won't push any forward. You have a good selection of command points. And now I need to take the other location. Again, without exposing myself to too much fire from the locations beyond them. So again, hand grenade out, because the first thing you want to do is get rid of the cover, even if it has no immediate effect on the shock trooper. So into the current action. Yes, I'm going to push around the corner, because again that was going to activate tanks and other units further on. Let's bring some scouts into the fray, because they've just got the extra movement and they can reinforce at this forward position. And probably not enough shots to actually kill. But we've brought the trooper elite down to a lot of, very low health. And we're out of range, I think, of the... Although I don't know if I've never seen them use the flamethrower and defensive fire. So, what do we have next? Right, I'm keeping the engineer back. That's there mostly to fix the tank. And no. So you can see that Hannah is actually potentially under the guns of the enemy bunker as well. So we're actually going to go up onto the sniper tower, see if Catherine can see anyone, and she can, I think. Mostly tanks, which she can't do much about. But let's see if we can actually shoot anybody and make it easier for somebody at some point to make an attack subsequently on these people. So we have a scout elite that we've badly damaged, and I've also learned it's well worthwhile descending, because if you leave them on top, the tanks will shoot at them and might actually get them. So who to activate next? Bring on more troops. So we get Rosie into action, and we bring her up and see if we can take this guy out. So she's not deterred by enemy action or enemy fire, and with help from her friends, she blows your man away. So now we can push forward, or we can stay where we are. We probably need further reinforcements though. We need to... Can't see much from there. I'll need to bring the tank up as well to engage that tank. So issuing orders. All units, heal all. This boosts badly damaged units will actually get a considerable amount of healing as a result of this. So when you have multiple injured units, it's actually very effective. I don't think it affects vehicles, but it certainly affects individual injured units. So the enemy will inevitably counterattack. So I found myself making use of that order actually quite a few times. There's another universal order as well, the defend one, which I thought about using, but I didn't actually use it. So we've opened up our account against the tank. And if I leave the Edelweiss here long enough, I mean, I think that fire just eventually does it. It seems to affect it gradually, so we're going to fire again at this tank. We can take out the bunker across the way with tank fire as well. But it takes at least 4 shots to do it. And I'm just pulling back a bit, because there's a second tank there as well, who does an awful lot of damage on a shot. And I don't want to be in a position for that second tank. Plus I want to bring this one forward, because I don't want to be shooting my infantry. I don't want both enemy tanks shooting at the infantry units. So now I want to get the Lancers up to support the infantry units as well. In case the enemy, well, there won't be in a position to do anything about the enemy tanks this turn. But they might be in a position next turn or the turn after. But I need to get them further forward, so they need to be, so that I can get them into position to deal with the enemy tanks as they're going to come after me. So we're also bringing Largo up because we'll need the firepower, if we can manage it. And we're going to need the current phase because we're out of command points. So off we go, the enemy response. And the enemy starts bringing on reinforcements, I think, either now or shortly. And they start coming fairly thick and fast then once they arrive. Now, this guy pushes forward and shoots at the Edelweiss, as expected and as more or less as planned. I'd rather he shoot at the Edelweiss than shoot at... That's starting to get worrying though. Maybe not shoot at the Edelweiss again. Probably use the rest of the command points for reinforcements. Third shot. The Edelweiss might have survived. Might have needed 4. Could have done it. That would have shortened the battle pretty quickly. So, Carl up there, fix the tank. Yep. And switch through to the correct tool, and let's see if we can get the tank back up, or almost back up to complete health. Almost back up to complete health. We just move the engineer out of the way so the tank can maneuver without squishing him. Time to get the Shamrock up as well. I'm not sure how useful it is to have the 2 tanks. There's barely room to maneuver them around, and as I said, I haven't figured a way of getting the tanks past the second gate, that one there, and the other place is surrounded by a wall as well, that you can't get them out. Now he's barely got the movement to actually get into past the coastal bunkers, and we go again. So I was actually thinking maybe if I had tried this before, and I thought maybe I'd come at it from a narrow angle or something. But no, I should, in theory, have enough room to drive it through there. But it seems that I'm not allowed. The game just won't allow me to drive the tanks through. It looks like there's enough actual room in that gate, in terms of the visual look of it, that I could drive the tanks through, but for some reason or other I'm not allowed. So we get Rosie right up to the flank of this guy. Again, you want to get rid of his cover. Want to get rid of him as well. Now we need to get rid of him, we need to get rid of the bunker behind him, because I want to put Lancers into that position to get a shot at the back of the tank that's bothering the Edelweiss. Now Vise is going to be in a position here to take out your man. He's got no bonuses from cover at the moment, so we've gotten rid of him. Now we can't go too close because there's another tank, a heavy tank with multiple guns further along, although its anti-personnel machine gun seems to be on the rear on a separate turret. So off we go. Now we are bringing Alicia up, and I'm going to toss a hand grenade at the Ragnite. I probably could have done it with a shot as well, but I thought a hand grenade is a more reliable way of igniting the Ragnite, and that blows the roof off the bunker and destroys the bunker completely. There's no way around it though. I suppose I could blow up the barricades with hand grenades, but I'm not sure. I haven't really successfully navigated through the bunker. But anyway, the thing is, once it's there, it's no longer in play, because I want to get this guy to do this. I think I missed the Ragnite. And the other tank is taken out of Largo and cost me a couple of action points. That bit I wasn't expecting. I thought he'd actually survive. However, we're bringing Yoko up as well, because the second tank has just got to go. It's a really tough tank to take down, and well, Yoko's relatively safe where she is, and we can bring the Edelweiss up, who's in reasonably good shape, and just finish this guy off, because Largo did a lot of damage anyway. It's one shot and he's out of the game, so that makes things a lot easier, and it gives the other tank something to shoot at as well, besides my poor little infantry. And you can see there I can't break down the walls, so this is a location where you have the opportunity to shoot stuff, but you don't have you actually have quite a lot of opportunity to shoot stuff. You just don't have the maneuverability on the battlefield that I would have liked. So the enemy is requesting reinforcements, and does so pretty much every turn from now on, and the fact the reinforcements can get quite heavy, so you have to actually be a bit snappy about it, and you can use the tanks actually sometimes to deal with the reinforcements. It can be a very effective way, because you can start their turn, they'll be sometimes on the bases, and if you can get mortar fire onto the bases, especially now since the last upgrades that I did, the mortar on the Edelweiss is actually very, very effective. Next priority now is to get rid of that heavy tank, because it's the main anchor of the defence, and it'll take quite a bit of getting rid of, unless I can get a Lancer behind it, or it moves forward enough that I can get a Lancer to shoot its rear. As you can see, it's done a lot of damage to the Edelweiss there. This thing could take out the Edelweiss in a single turn, and is perfectly willing to do so. So the engineer Carl is back in action, because I can't afford to leave the Edelweiss like that. In fact, I might have to withdraw the Edelweiss from its forward position. And maybe the tank will follow me forward as well. I don't know. So we have, it's like there's one shot taken out of it already. Okay, what do we do now? So Rosie, I'm going to move Rosie around, and basically, yeah, This is rather a daring move on my part. But if it works, we've got rid of the cover. So with that guy in out of cover, how Rosie's health like? She managed to get round there handy enough. Put the sniper up. Climb up. She should be able to see our man. If the tank isn't blocking the line of sight. It doesn't look like it is. So we've got a headshot. We missed. She got 2 more shots. And we put her up there again. So now we zoom in, we can still get this guy. It's just a matter of getting the shot to actually hit. And again. So 1 shot. Yeah, we want this red shot to kill. No. This may not work out, so we just descend her. Right. I don't know if a more advanced position will help. Right. Yoko managed to make it all the way around without being shot at. She's been shot at by the bunker across the way though. And she's blown away the heavy tank. Excellent. Good woman, Yoko. Mentioned in the dispatches, certainly. Now, if we can get rid of this guy, the other shock trooper should be able to do it. The other shock trooper, Hannes, is a bit far away. We bring Hannes up as far as he can go. And see, again, he's taken far from the bunker off on the other side of the map. Trooper Elite is not dead yet. Hannes is taking a bit of a beating. Right, we need more troops. We have another one. We're going to reactivate Rosie. Orders. Damage boost. Heal all. Right, that gets people back up to health because they're low enough. So Rosie now is in much better nick. We activate her. Her strong will kick in and she will advance into your man's face, where 5 shots will do the job. But I don't think she has the movement left to change the flag, does she? Because if I can change the flag, it has huge benefits. Well, I'll be able to do it anyway. I mean, if Rosie can't, Rosie can do it. So Rosie has done it. I would have been able to do it with Alicia anywhere, somebody else. The thing is now, I have now got to occupy this base. And that makes me well set up. It stops reinforcements. It makes me well set up to attack the second base. And it also puts me... it's effectively nullified the action points and the command points the enemy used to put reinforcements queued for that particular base in the first place. Those reinforcements will now get delayed by an extra turn. So I will be meeting a less strong opponent on the other side. So the next thing now is to deal with that bunker. And I think I will call it here, and we'll do this in part 2. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and share. Feel free to comment. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.